We have the curious case of his gravestone spelling his middle name with 2 A's when his birth certificate has it listed with 1 A. Many see this misspelling as another clue.
40 years after his passing, Elvis Presley is making headlines again. Hidden deep within the walls of Graceland, a vault has been uncovered, sealed, untouched, and steeped in mystery. What lies inside? Unreleased music? Personal letters? Or something even more astonishing? This is the story of a discovery that could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the king of rock and roll. Early life. It was the early hours of January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi. Inside a tiny 2-room house, Gladys Presley was in labor, with her husband Vernon and his brother by her side. She was expecting twins, but tragedy struck when the first baby, Jesse Garin, was stillborn. Moments later, Elvis Aaron entered the world, full of life and crying loudly. A healthy baby boy. Elvis became the only child of Vernon and Gladys, and their love for him was boundless. Though his twins' loss was a shadow over the family, Elvis grew up surrounded by warmth and care. Their home in Tupelo was small, but it was always filled with relatives, parents, grandparents, and extended family, creating a close-knit and supportive environment. Money was tight, but Vernon and Gladys were determined to give Elvis a happy life. They moved often, chasing opportunities, but their love and devotion provided him with a sense of stability. For the Presleys, it wasn't about where they lived, it was about being together. Elvis found joy in music and worship. He was captivated by the hymns and sermons at the Assembly of God Church. At home, he soaked up all kinds of music, from the gospel he heard in church to the blues played by his neighbors and the country songs on the radio. Music became his passion, and it stayed with him everywhere he went. On October 3, 1945, Elvis had his first taste of performing for an audience. At just 10 years old, he stood on a chair to reach the microphone at the Mississippi-Alabama Fair and Dairy Show Talent Contest. Singing Old Shep, he earned 5th place and a handful of tickets for the fair rides. It wasn't a big prize, but it was a proud moment and a glimpse of what was to come. 2 years later, in 1947, Elvis set his sights on a shiny new bicycle. But the family couldn't afford it. Instead, Gladys gently guided him toward a $13 guitar from Tupelo Hardware Company. That modest guitar turned out to be a treasure, laying the foundation for a musical journey that would change the world. Elvis gave his classmates at Milam Junior High a performance they wouldn't forget, strumming "Leaf on a Tree" as a farewell gift. Why the goodbye? The Presleys were making a major move. They loaded up their old Plymouth with everything they owned and set off for Memphis, Tennessee, in search of a brighter future. They weren't alone for long. Before they knew it, the rest of the Presley and Smith family joined them, all hoping to find their piece of the American dream. But reality hit hard. From 1948 to 1953, Elvis and his family lived in public housing and small, affordable homes in North Memphis, a part of town where money was scarce and life was tough. Vernon and Gladys worked tirelessly, hopping from one job to another, while Elvis attended L.C. Humes High School. To ease the burden on his parents, Elvis took on small jobs wherever he could. Despite the hardships, the family stayed close, leaning on their faith and gathering regularly at the Assembly of God Church. For Elvis, his escape came through music. His guitar, his voice, and his distinctive style became his refuge. He shopped for unique clothing on Beale Street and immersed himself in the rich sounds of black blues and gospel. Downtown Gospel Sings became a favorite hangout, where his long hair and sideburns made him impossible to miss. His music wasn't confined to church gatherings. At Humes High, Elvis stepped onto the stage for a talent show, guitar in hand. To his surprise, the audience erupted in applause, and he won the contest. The cheers were so loud that he performed an encore, leaving with a newfound confidence in his talent. But this chapter didn't last forever. By 1953, Elvis graduated from Humes High School. Almost immediately, he started working at Parker Machinist's shop to help support his family. That summer, he walked into the Memphis recording service, later known as Sun Records. For just $4, he recorded My Happiness and That's When Your Heartaches Begin as a heartfelt birthday gift for his mother, Gladys. It was a small act, but it marked the beginning of something extraordinary, the start of his music career. Around this time, Sam Phillips, the founder of Sun Records, began to notice something special in Elvis. He saw potential in the young singer's voice, believing Elvis could become a standout ballad performer. This marked the beginning of Elvis's journey into the music world. By 1955, things started to change. Elvis was catching attention with his unique sound, electrifying stage presence, and good looks. His hip-swaying moves created a buzz wherever he performed. That year, Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, secured a deal with RCA Records, setting the stage for Elvis to become a star. In 1956, Elvis's rise was unstoppable. He scored his first #1 hit with Heartbreak Hotel, and his debut album, Elvis Presley, quickly topped the charts. That same year, he signed a movie deal with Paramount Pictures, solidifying his place as a multi-talented entertainer. Not everyone was a fan of his bold dance moves, which some found too suggestive, but audiences loved him. He became a regular on television, making his network debut on The Stage Show, produced by Jackie Gleason and featuring Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey. Over 6 appearances, Elvis steadily captured national attention. As Heartbreak Hotel dominated the charts, Elvis scored another milestone with his final Sun Records single, I Forgot to Remember to Forget, paired with Mystery Train. It climbed to #1 on the country charts, marking a significant breakthrough in his career. A few months later, RCA released Elvis Presley, his first full album featuring his early hits. The album was a smash success, holding the top spot on the pop charts for 10 straight weeks. It became Elvis's first record to earn over $1 million and won him his first Gold Album Award. Just days after the album's release, Elvis headed to Hollywood for a screen test at Paramount Studios. He spent 2 days acting and lip-syncing to Blue Suede Shoes, as well as performing a scene from an upcoming movie, The Rainmaker. During this whirlwind period, Elvis was on the move, working non-stop to make his dreams a reality. Elvis made waves on the Milton Berle Show, performing on an unusual stage, a live broadcast from the USS Hancock, an aircraft carrier. But this was just the beginning. His calendar was filling up fast. He signed a movie deal with Hal Wallace and Paramount Pictures, starting with a single film and an option for 6 more. In April and May of 1956, Elvis took the stage at the New Frontier Hotel in Las Vegas. But this time, his usual magic didn't land. The adult gamblers in the crowd weren't as captivated as his younger fans. Still, his single Heartbreak Hotel and his debut album Elvis Presley dominated the Billboard pop charts, both claiming the #1 spot. As he continued touring, Elvis's popularity only grew. His high-energy shows sent crowds into a frenzy, sometimes forcing performances to end early when fans rushed the stage. In June, Elvis returned to the Milton Berle Show, this time in a traditional studio. With the Jordanaires, Scotty Moore, Bill Black, and DJ Fontana backing him, he performed a playful rendition of Hound Dog. His provocative moves thrilled younger fans, but raised eyebrows among adults and critics. The backlash only fueled his fame, making this one of his most talked-about performances. Elvis's bold style, both in music and dance, drew sharp criticism from conservative and religious groups. But his youthful audience couldn't get enough. His popularity kept climbing as he toured and released new hits. The controversy didn't slow him down. Soon after, he appeared on NBC's The Steve Allen Show. To address the uproar from his last TV appearance, the show poked fun at the situation. Dressed in formal white tie and tails, Elvis performed a humorous version of Hound Dog, singing to a basset hound on stage. Though Elvis wasn't thrilled with the stunt, he went along with it. He even joined in a comedy sketch with Steve Allen, Imogene Coca, and Andy Griffith, showcasing his playful side despite the ongoing drama. Elvis faced constant criticism, but his fame only grew stronger. He signed a groundbreaking $50,000 deal for upcoming appearances, setting a new standard in the entertainment world. The very next day, he brought the Jordanaires, a well-known gospel and country group, into the studio for his fourth RCA recording session. From that point on, the Jordanaires not only toured with him, but also appeared in several of his films, staying by his side as his main backing group through the late 1960s. In August 1956, Elvis began shooting his first movie. Initially called The Reno Brothers, the title was later changed to Love Me Tender to leverage the buzz surrounding its hit single. During filming, Elvis made his debut on The Ed Sullivan Show, the biggest TV program of the era. Though Sullivan himself was absent due to a car accident, Charles Lawton hosted the show, and Elvis's performance drew an unprecedented 80% of the national television audience. Just weeks later, Elvis returned to his hometown of Tupelo, Mississippi, for a day of celebration. On September 26, 1956, the city declared it Elvis Presley Day. Joined by his family, he performed 2 shows at the Mississippi-Alabama Fair and Dairy Show, the very stage where he had once sung as a young boy. The excitement was so intense that National Guardsmen were called in to keep the crowds under control. By now, Elvis mania was sweeping the country. His image appeared on everything from hats to t-shirts to jeans, marking the start of a new era in celebrity merchandising. Elvis and his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, were trailblazers, turning his face into a brand and cashing in on the craze. On November 15, 1956, Elvis made his big screen debut with Love Me Tender, premiering at the Paramount Theater in New York City. The film was a hit, and even critics didn't have much to say against his acting. Set during the Civil War, the movie showcased both his acting and singing, solidifying his status as a versatile star. To cap off his whirlwind year, the Wall Street Journal featured Elvis on its front page on December 31, 1956. The headline noted an astonishing $22 million in merchandise sales alone, a testament to his unprecedented popularity and the power of Elvis mania. The year 1956 marked a turning point for Elvis Presley. It was the year he went from a rising star to a household name across the globe. Merchandise bearing his name flew off the shelves, his acting career took off, and he broke records in music and television. Everywhere he went, fans went wild. Elvis had become the face of America's youth culture and a lightning rod for debate. His unique blend of musical styles, paired with an irresistible stage presence, created a cultural revolution. He wasn't just changing music, he was reshaping societal norms and paving the way for a new era. The ripple effect of his success was undeniable. Elvis Presley had become a force that no one could ignore. In 1957, he kept the momentum going. On January 6th, he made his third and final appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show. This time, the cameras only filmed him from the waist up. a response to the controversy his moves had sparked the year before. The irony wasn't lost on anyone when he performed the gospel hymn Peace in the Valley among his 5-song set. Ed Sullivan himself, one of the biggest names in television, stepped in to diffuse the backlash. On air, he praised Elvis's character, reassuring viewers that the young star was a fine man and a joy to have on the show. It was a rare moment of public support amidst the criticism swirling around Elvis. Meanwhile, Elvis's fame extended far beyond American borders. The New York Times reported that in the Soviet Union, Presley records were being sold on the black market. Since his music wasn't available officially, fans ingeniously used discarded X-ray plates to create bootleg copies, selling them for 50 rubles, a hefty price at the time, equivalent to about $130 today. Back home, Elvis continued breaking records. His Christmas album was a huge success, topping the charts for a month and eventually selling an astounding 20 million copies. Then came Jailhouse Rock, a chart-topping single tied to his movie of the same name. Decades later, Rolling Stone ranked it at number 216 on their list of the greatest songs of all time. Hits like Blue Suede Shoes, Can't Help Falling in Love, All Shook Up, Teddy Bear, and Are You Lonesome Tonight kept his fans captivated. But even as he enjoyed this meteoric rise, life was about to take a serious turn. In November 1957, Elvis performed in Hawaii, not knowing it would be his last concert before trading his guitar for army boots. By the end of the year, he and his family celebrated their first Christmas at Graceland, decorating the mansion for the holidays. Amidst the festivities, a letter arrived, his draft notice. It was the news he had been anticipating, but it still marked the beginning of a major new chapter in his life: military and marriage. Even being drafted into the U.S. Army couldn't derail Elvis Presley's skyrocketing career. His military journey began in March 1958, when he reported to the Memphis Draft Board and received the iconic GI Buzz cut at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. From there, he headed to Fort Hood, Texas, for 6 months of basic training. During his first leave, Elvis wasted no time. He hit the recording studio for what would be his final session until 1960, producing the hit A Big Hunk o' Love. While this brief return to music brought him joy, it was followed by devastating news. As he prepared for deployment to Europe, his mother, Gladys, fell seriously ill. Diagnosed with acute hepatitis, she was rushed to a Memphis hospital. Elvis was granted emergency leave and arrived on August 12th to spend time with her during her final days. On August 14th, after a brief rest back at Graceland, he received the heartbreaking news: Gladys had passed away at just 46 years old. She was laid to rest that same afternoon, and Elvis, consumed by grief, had to summon the strength to return to his military duties. While stationed in Germany, Elvis found a glimmer of happiness. He met Priscilla Beaulieu, a young teen whose stepfather, Captain Joseph Beaulieu, had been relocated to the Wiesbaden Air Force Base. A mutual friend introduced Priscilla to Elvis at a party, sparking a romance that would change both of their lives. Over time, their connection deepened, leading to their marriage in 1967 in Las Vegas. During his Army service, Elvis climbed the ranks to sergeant. His military chapter ended on March 2, 1960, when he returned to the U.S. and faced the press in New Jersey. By March 5th, he was officially discharged from active duty. Back in Memphis, fans and reporters flooded Graceland to welcome him home. On March 8th, Elvis held a press conference in his father's office, addressing the media with humility. Despite his immense fame, he had served his country like any other soldier, receiving no special treatment. His 2 years in the Army were a period of personal growth, but he couldn't shake the nagging fear that his time away might have dimmed his star. However, if the crowds at Graceland were any indication, Elvis was far from forgotten. The 1960s and 1970s. After leaving the military in 1960, Elvis wasted no time reclaiming his place in the spotlight. His music from GI Blues topped the charts, and he kept fans hooked with movies like Blue Hawaii and Viva Las Vegas. While not every film was a critical hit, they raked in profits, and their soundtracks were adored by fans. By the late 1960s, however, Elvis's movie magic began to fade. Audiences were losing interest, and his career seemed to be at a crossroads. But Elvis wasn't ready to step back. In 1968, he staged an unforgettable comeback with a television special that reminded the world why he was still the king of rock and roll. His voice, charisma, and magnetic stage presence left viewers mesmerized, proving he hadn't lost his touch. During this period, his personal life appeared to be thriving too. He married Priscilla, and in 1968, they welcomed their daughter, Lisa Marie. For a moment, it seemed like Elvis had everything: fame, family, and a fresh start. But the happiness didn't last. By the 1970s, cracks began to show in his marriage. Both Elvis and Priscilla struggled with infidelity, and their relationship slowly unraveled. Eventually, they separated, leaving Priscilla to care for Lisa Marie, while Elvis faced his own struggles. In 1973, Elvis's life took a darker turn. His reliance on prescription pills began to take a toll on his health. The once slim heartthrob now battled weight issues, and his health spiraled downward. That fall, his condition worsened, and he ended up in the hospital. A stark contrast to the vibrant performer fans had come to love. Despite his personal struggles, Elvis continued to dominate the stage. His Las Vegas shows and tours remained massive hits, drawing packed crowds wherever he went. His final performance took place in June 1977 in Indianapolis. Afterward, he returned to Graceland, ready to prepare for another tour, unaware it would never come to pass. Death. Elvis Presley's time at Graceland came to a heartbreaking end on August 16, 1977. At just 42 years old, the king of rock and roll passed away. His death was attributed to heart failure, with prescription drug use playing a significant role. The news shocked the world, leaving millions of fans grieving the loss of a legend. Elvis was laid to rest at Graceland, buried alongside his mother, Gladys, his father, Vernon, and his grandmother, Minnie May Hood Presley. The grounds became a place of remembrance, drawing countless visitors to honor his memory. On the day of his death, floral delivery company Transworld Delivery recorded over 3,100 orders for floral tributes, setting a record for a single day in the U.S. 2 days later, on August 18th, Elvis's funeral brought thousands to Memphis. An estimated 18,000 fans lined Elvis Presley Boulevard, holding signs, flowers, and mementos. The white Cadillac hearse carrying his rose-covered casket became a symbol of the love and admiration his fans felt for him. While the streets were packed with mourners, a private service was held at Graceland for around 200 family members and close friends. Among the attendees were Hollywood stars like John Wayne, Burt Reynolds, Anne Margaret, and Caroline Kennedy, paying their respects to the man who had left an indelible mark on entertainment. Though the funeral itself was somber and serene, Elvis's passing didn't bring an end to the speculation and intrigue surrounding his life. Even in death, he remained a figure of fascination, with his legacy continuing to spark both celebration and mystery. Elvis Presley's tomb controversy. Elvis Presley's sudden death on August 16, 1977, stunned the world, leaving fans heartbroken. But just 9 days after his burial, a bizarre incident added an unexpected twist to his story. A failed grave robbery attempt that deepened the intrigue surrounding his death. Late one night, three men, Raymond Green, Eugene Nelson, and Ronnie Adkins, were caught lingering near Elvis's mausoleum. Their behavior raised suspicion, but their plan was even stranger. Reports suggested they intended to break into the tomb using dynamite, though they hadn't brought enough explosives to succeed. A cemetery worker noticed their odd activity and alerted the authorities. Police confiscated a small amount of dynamite, though it was clear the group was poorly prepared. Ronnie Adkins later turned informant, implicating his accomplices, but his credibility crumbled after he was arrested for fraud. As a result, the charges against the trio were dropped. Years later, Adkins offered a shocking twist. He claimed the entire plot might have been staged by someone in law enforcement working with Elvis's family. According to Adkins, the Presley family wanted Elvis moved to Graceland, but the property wasn't legally approved for burials. He suggested Sheriff Billy Talley collaborated with the family to fake a theft attempt, creating a case for increased security. This, Adkins alleged, was a ploy to secure permission to bury Elvis at Graceland. Whether true or not, the story only fueled the mysteries surrounding Elvis's legacy. Over the years, rumors swirled about plans to unveil his tomb, sparking wild speculation among fans and conspiracy theorists. Even in death, Elvis's life and his resting place continued to captivate the world. Rumors and theories. The mysteries surrounding Elvis Presley's tomb are as captivating as the king himself. Over the years, rumors and speculation have swirled, with fans and conspiracy theorists alike suggesting the Presley family might one day reveal secrets about his grave. Some of these theories even claim that Elvis faked his own death. One of the most talked about clues involves the engraving on Elvis's tombstone. His middle name, Aaron, was spelled with two A's instead of the single A spelling, Aaron, that appeared on his birth certificate. To some, this was seen as a deliberate signal, a hidden message suggesting the king wasn't really buried there. However, others point out that Elvis began using the spelling Aaron later in life, dismissing the misspelling as intentional rather than conspiratorial. Another supposed hint came during a 2005 interview with Oprah Winfrey. While reflecting on Elvis's relationship with their daughter, Priscilla Presley appeared to slip up, speaking about him in the present tense, before quickly correcting herself. This moment added fuel to the theory that Elvis might still be alive. Similarly, during a 2003 interview with Larry King, Lisa Marie Presley dodged a question about whether she felt a spiritual connection to her father, leaving fans speculating about her choice of words. Whether fueled by genuine belief or a refusal to let go of their idol, these theories have kept Elvis's legacy alive in a unique and often puzzling way. For many fans, the idea that the king might still be out there is simply too thrilling to resist. Elvis sightings after death. After Elvis was laid to rest, rumors began swirling that he had staged his own disappearance. Despite medical professionals confirming his death, some people remained steadfast in their belief that the king had faked it all to escape the pressures of fame and live a quieter life. Over the years, alleged sightings of Elvis popped up across North America. In 1989, a group called the Elvis Sighting Society was even formed to catalog these claims. One of the most infamous theories came in 1990, when fans pointed to a man in the background of a Home Alone airport scene. Sporting a beard and a turtleneck, the man bore a resemblance to Elvis, leading some to believe he was the king himself, making a sly cameo. Skeptics, including paranormal investigator Ben Radford, quickly dismissed the claim. Radford questioned why Elvis, if he had gone to such lengths to fake his death, would casually appear as an extra in a blockbuster movie. He also pointed out that no one on set seemed to recognize one of the most famous faces in history. To settle the matter, Home Alone director Chris Columbus confirmed that the man was not Elvis, but Gary Richard Grott, an extra and personal friend of Columbus. In 1988, a Nashville radio station added fuel to the speculation by offering a $1 million reward to anyone who could bring Elvis in for a live interview. The stunt aimed to either lure him out of hiding or finally lay the rumors to rest. The search even inspired a quirky 1990 video game, Les Manly: In Search for the King, where players embarked on a virtual hunt to find Elvis and claim the reward. Whether Elvis Presley truly staged his disappearance or rests peacefully at Graceland, the endless speculation has only added to his mystique. Decades later, his legacy and the fascination surrounding his life continue to captivate fans around the world.